Yo guys, what's going on? Welcome back to a new video, and today for you guys, we're reacting to a new video from Emirichu, or Emily. I went to 12 anime cafes. That's a lot of anime cafes. I haven't been to one yet. But we're gonna watch this, we're gonna react to it. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and yeah, let's just go right into the video.
I love cafes.
Me
There's
too.
nothing comfier than sitting inside a cafe during a rainy afternoon, sipping on a hot latte while drawing, and listening to either your music of choice or the acoustic jazz song covers playing inside.
This is
I
an
also
aesthetic.
really love themed cafes.
There it is.
And
All
today
right.
I'm going to show you 12 different anime-themed cafes that I had the pleasure of dining at, and what my
That's
thoughts and
a lot
personal
of
ratings are on
cafes.
each of them. And before anyone asks, no, there are no maid cafes in this list. I'm going to save that one for another time.
Oh,
But
okay.
before we get into the cafes, I first need to introduce today's sponsor, Honkai Impact 3rd.
Honkai
so I'll be honest,
Impact. I
sci-fi
have not
plotlines
played
and
their games,
mecha-esque
honestly,
armor
just
is
Genshin.
not really a thing that interests me all that much. But the thing that stuck out to me the most about Honkai was its visually stunning gameplay and the music soundtrack. And of course, since this is from the same developer as Genshin Impact, I quickly took notice of the fact that the character designs are stellar. Take for
They are, to be
instance,
fair.
Elysia. There's just something about her that really speaks to me, you know? Gee, I wonder what it could possibly be. The Valkyrie suit they gave her for the Elysian Realm story is absolutely breathtaking. She's elegant, cheery, sweet. She's everything I want to be. Then there's Griseo, who's from the same group as
She's
Elysia.
actually a really cool character, to
She's
be honest.
adorable, shy, soft-spoken, and the thing I like most about her is the fact that she fights with a paintbrush, so her gameplay is a lot of fun to watch. Now, if cat girls are more up your alley, there's Partophilis. Wow, this game has interesting names. It's no surprise why she sticks out to me. She's cute, she's got this super adorable bathing suit for her summer skin, and best of all, she's got this cat clinging to her scarf at all times so she can
That's
whip
kinda
out
cool.
during battle.
Oh my gosh.
So, a pink-haired girl, an artist, and a cat girl with a cat. It's like they were made to get my attention. There's a
Oh, yeah,
character
Bert's
for
going
everyone.
crazy.
So if you're interested in a game with really flashy, energetic combat, a roster made up entirely of pretty girls, and a more sci-fi aesthetic, then consider trying out Honkai Impact today.
Alright.
The first type of cafe we're going to explore are the pop-up walk-up cafes.
Okay.
Pop-up cafes are the most common type you'll see when it comes to anime collaborations. They're there for a limited time at a specific location, and they usually have a menu that's themed around the show or game that they're promoting.
Okay.
All collaboration cafes usually have merch that's exclusive to the cafe. Pop-up walk-up cafes are the easiest to get to because there's no reservation needed, so you just show up, order, and enjoy. The
Okay,
first
cool.
themed cafe I ever went to was actually an Arina Tanemura pop-up cafe at Tokyo Skytree.
Okay.
Arina
I wanna know
Tanemura
if I
is a
know any of these
mangaka behind
animes, too.
titles like Full Moon Osagashite, Gentleman's Alliance, and Kamikaze Kaitojin. And she
Okay.
was one of my biggest art inspirations when I was growing up. So of course, I was super excited to go to a cafe that was themed after her work. I ended up going with two other friends who also enjoyed Arina Tanemura when they were younger. The
Okay.
first thing I noticed was that there wasn't a whole lot of room to sit. They have a few plastic tables and chairs, but aside from the large window decorations, the vibe is very eat your food and get the hell out. Luckily, there wasn't any wait, so we were able to grab a table right after ordering. The other thing I noticed was, wow, this menu is kind of expensive. As the video continues, you might notice that this is kind of a constant with themed cafes. I will not be judging any of them based on price because, spoiler alert, they are all expensive.
Oh, wow.
I decided to order the curry alma rice, which was made to resemble
Oh.
takto, and a berry soda themed after Miroko. Also a latte with Mitsuki's image. The whole full moon
They
game's
seem really
here.
cool.
The food was served
And
on
tasty.
paper plates and plastic cups, and the presentation was lacking. But like I said, the vibe of this particular cafe space was eat your food and get the hell out. And honestly, I was still super excited to be there. To be honest, the curry rice was not great. It's one of those things where you're like, I can definitely make this better at home. However,
Oh, wow.
the berry soda was actually pretty good.
That's
Not
what got
too
my
sweet
attention, honestly,
and
the
super
soda.
refreshing. One of my friends also ordered a strawberry parfait that looked super
Ooh.
cute, but I didn't try it, so I have no idea how it was. I ended up spending the time bonding with my new friends over our mutual love for shoujo anime and reminiscing on all our favorite Arina Tanemura memories. So, as mediocre and pricey as the food was, I still had a good time. This pop-up cafe gets a 2.5 out of 5 from me.
Okay, so we got
The
a
second
one
pop-up
right in the
cafe
middle.
I went to was the Fruits
Fruits
Basket
Baskets,
Cafe
alright.
at the
I know
Princess
this one.
Cafe space in Akihabara. Compared to the first cafe I went to, this one had a way different atmosphere. For starters, there was ample seating, and even though it was a Saturday, there was 0 wait time. There was chibi art of all the characters on the walls and tables, and the TV was playing recap scenes from the show with the gorgeous soundtrack playing in the background. My friend Daru ordered the somen and citrus kyo soda, and I ordered a katsudon, a blueberry yuki soda, a toru strawberry milk, and a latte with kisa printed on it. I'm not really a big fan of desserts, but we also ordered the pancakes to share. To be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of the strawberry milk, but the berry soda and latte were really good. Ooh. I was also really surprised at how tasty the katsudon was too. And actually, I was so overwhelmed by how happy I felt in the moment, I burst into tears as soon as I took a bite of the katsudon. I was incredibly embarrassed because Daru was a very new friend, but she was really nice about it, and she was like, "Don't worry, I also fangirl over things like this." Presentation-wise, everything was pretty cute with the little wafer paper characters, and I was glad I was able to eat on actual dishware and glasses this time.
Kind of hungry.
Afterwards, we of course had to get some merchandise from the goods section, and I ended up getting a bunch of small acrylic charm blind bags and these adorable acrylic stands. There was also a little book where you could sign a thank you message to Miss Setagaya herself, who had actually attended the day before we did and drew a doodle in the book. It honestly felt kind of surreal, and I walked away from this cafe experience extremely happy. So this pop-up gets a 5 out of 5.
Good stuff.
For the third pop-up cafe, we're going back to the first cafe space at Tokyo Skytree, and this one was honestly a nightmare. So, a little word of advice. If you choose to visit any sort of event in Japan and you have the option to, do not go during the weekend, and especially not on a Sunday. I may have gotten really lucky with the Fruits Basket Cafe, but this time around, I would not be as fortunate. So initially, I was actually super excited about this one because this time it was a Nichijou collaboration cafe, and Nichijou is one of my favorite anime, so of course I had to go. And I had actually stayed up to make sure I didn't miss the opening time because as luck would have it, it was the only day I could go because it was the day before I had to fly to California for VidCon. I figured, you know, Nichijou isn't a super brand new anime or anything, and it's a walk-up cafe, so surely it won't be that busy. Wrong! Imagine my surprise when my sleep-deprived ass strolls up at 11 a.m. to see a huge swarm of people, all wanting to get into the Nichijou cafe, to the point where they had to hand out numbered slips, and I was like, okay, yeah, I don't mind waiting like an hour or two.
Please come back at nighttime is crazy.
Honto? So I took a taxi home, took a nap, went back at 7 p.m., and the food was not good. I'm not even going to get into detail on the things I ordered because nothing really stood out. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Sakamoto burger looked adorable, but if we're looking past the wafer decorations, what we have here is very overpriced, very mediocre food. And of course, since this is the same place that had the Arina Tanemura pop-up, it was served in the usual paper plates and plastic cups. But of course, I was sort of expecting this. So, at the end of the day, I'm not waiting 8 hours for spectacular food. I'm waiting 8 hours for Nichijou. And that's what I got. So, I had no regrets. 1 out of 5.
Okay.
Now, the second type of cafe I'm going to introduce is the pop-up reservation cafe. Similarly to the previous ones, these are also only for a limited time, but rather than just showing up, you actually need to make a reservation beforehand, usually through the cafe venue's website. If the anime is new and or very popular, you'll likely have to make a reservation, like if it's a Spy Family collaboration or a Chikawa collaboration. The menu is still a bit pricey, but you can expect to see a higher quality in both presentation and taste. The first reservation cafe I went to with Daru was the Mofusand Cafe at the Box Cafe in Space in Shinjuku. Mofusand is a series of some of the cutest, chubbiest little kitties you've ever seen, drawn by an illustrator who goes by the name Juno. You might have even seen some of these cute cat illustrations on either Twitter or Instagram. So, technically not an anime, but it was so stinking cute, we had to go. The atmosphere was cute and pretty simple, with illustrations of the cats covering the walls and this giant shark cat plush. I ordered a burger, a sparkling lime soda, a cafe latte, and a cat ice cream parfait. Daru ordered the fried shrimp sandwich and a taiyaki dessert made to look like a cat's head was stuck in it. The food was all so adorable. We genuinely had trouble starting because we didn't want to ruin it. And surprisingly, it was actually really, really tasty. I
It looks
completely
good.
annihilated my plate because I was
Oh.
enjoying it so much. Everything on that plate was delicious. The
I like the
burger,
plate
the
itself.
salad, the
It's like
potatoes,
wood.
the drinks were also really good, and the parfait was pretty good, but I couldn't finish it because, like I said, not a big fan of desserts. But luckily for me, Daru is, so she happily took it off my hands. Afterwards, we took a look at all the cute merchandise in the merch corner and talked ourselves out of buying everything in sight. Overall, it was a really fun time, and my tummy was very
5 out
happy.
of 5.
5 out
Okay,
of 5.
good.
The second reservation cafe I went to with
Sailor
Daru is
Moon.
the Sailor Moon Cafe, located in the Sailor Moon Museum in Roppongi. This museum is here until the end of the year, so if you find yourself in Japan within the next 3 months and you're a big Sailor Moon fan, I definitely recommend checking this exhibit out. Now, you don't necessarily need a reservation for the cafe, but you do need to book a ticket reservation for the museum that it's in. So I'm
Okay.
counting it in the category of pop-up reservation cafes.
Okay.
The exhibit is really pretty, and Daru was losing her mind from happiness every step of the way, so it was her turn to be the teary-eyed fangirl. It was a Sunday, which we all know is a very busy day, so we ended up
Busy day,
waiting
busy
around
day.
an hour to get a table at the cafe.
Ooh.
The food was, of course, very cute and actually pretty good. I ordered the slider plate. One had shrimp and egg, and the other had tuna and pesto. It came with
That's
pickled
actually kinda
veggies and a
really good.
side salad with
I've never
what
thought
I
about
think
that.
was blue gelatinized salad dressing, and also a side of potato puree that was dyed pink. Interesting color choices, but they tasted good, so I'm not gonna knock it.
I'm actually
I
extremely
also ordered
hungry
a
now.
white peach soda float, which had star-shaped jellies at the bottom. It tasted sweet and refreshing, and I actually really liked it because it wasn't sickly sweet. And of course, I needed a second drink, so I ordered an iced latte with some text from the manga printed on top. Daru got the moon-shaped omurice, which included a silhouette of Sailor Moon made out of sugar. I don't
Oh.
really agree with the choice of having sugar next to omurice, but she seemed to enjoy it, so again, not gonna knock it. For dessert, we shared the Cosmic Heart Compact Dessert Plate, which had a strawberry mousse topped off with a sugar cookie. The mousse was pretty good, but I was pretty sugared out from the float, so like always, I had to get Daru to clean up the rest of it.
I love
If I had
sweets,
to
so
rate the
this seems
cafe
very
without
good to me.
taking the exhibit into account, I think I'd have to give it a 4.5 out of 5.
Okay.
Now, some of the fellas watching this video have either completely checked out at this point, or they're asking,
I'm
okay,
still
we
here."
see all these girly, cutesy cafes you're going to, but where's the cafe for me and my shonen brethren? So I
Oh.
present to you the Jujutsu Kaisen
Oh
Cafe.
my goodness.
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. So this is one I managed to get a reservation for. It was a bit of a hassle. I had to make an account on the site, pick a reservation time, pay the booking fee at the nearby Lawson, all to have some of the most mediocre food I've ever eaten. The
Oh my
atmosphere
gosh.
was fine. I wasn't a huge fan of the plastic screen thing they had because it made sharing food difficult, but we did get some free file folders and, of course, free coasters with every drink purchase. I
Okay.
ordered a panda breakfast sandwich thing, and I'm gonna be honest, it sucked. The egg
Yeah.
was nice and gooey, but aside from that, it tasted abysmal. Didus's
Oh.
meal was, I think, slightly better, but he wasn't really all that into it either.
Okay.
The drinks were fine, nothing to write home about, but they were fine. Now, the real highlight of this cafe, if you could believe it, was the dessert. The
Oh.
dessert was actually really freaking good.
Okay.
The cake was nice and fluffy, the cream was light and
Ooh.
tasty, especially with the fruits and tart sauce, and there was even some strawberry jam and vanilla ice cream in the middle of the cake.
Okay.
This was probably one of the best desserts I'd eaten at any of the cafes.
Okay.
So, as you can
3?
probably tell, these cafe menus can be hit or miss depending on what you order. You just have to hope and pray you won the menu RNG and picked the tastiest item.
The menu
In this
RNG.
case, I think I picked the worst possible meal choice, but arguably the best dessert option.
Okay, that's good.
There was, of course, a merch section in the store, but I wasn't really interested in anything.
Yeah.
Jujutsu Kaisen Cafe gets a 2.5 out of 5 for me.
Okay,
The only
okay.
thing that earned points was the very tasty dessert. Now that you've heard about pop-up cafes, let's talk about permanent walk-up cafes. These
Okay.
cafes are, like the name suggests, permanent, and you go any time of the
wonder what
year
number
because
we're on.
they're not going anywhere. There's not a whole lot of these, and the only ones I could find that didn't require a reservation were dedicated character cafes. First one in this category is the Cinema Roll Cafe in
Oh,
Shinjuku.
okay.
I was interested in this one because they were doing a limited time collaboration with Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
It was a Monday and nobody was available that day to go with me, so I went on a date with myself. I thought I was being smart by going at opening time on a Monday morning. But of course, since it's a collaboration with Queen Miku, there was already a huge line when I got there. I ended up waiting 2 hours to finally get seated, and during that time, I decided I would order 2 things from the Miku collab menu and 2 things from the regular cinema roll menu.
Okay.
I ordered the tropical mango soda, which was really freaking good. It was like a club soda mixed with fruit puree, so it wasn't too sweet at all. And at this point, I realized I had a thing for bubbly, fruity soda water. Unfortunately, the green yasai juice I ordered off the Miku menu was not as good. Honestly, it was kind of gross. It was like a cup of vegetable juice, which by itself was not bad, but it had a thick layer of Cool Whip on top, and I was really not into it. I could only drink half. Also from the Miku menu was the green onion and tuna pasta. The flavor was intense, but it was pretty good. Was it $10 good? I mean, presentation-wise, it was just pasta with a little paper image of Miku and cinema roll on a toothpick stuck into it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the presentation of the cinema roll omurice is one of the cutest edible things I have ever seen. Look at how cute he is! Little baby boy sleeping in his egg blanket. I do have to say, though, it looks a lot cuter than it tastes.
Where's the flavor? Where's the flavor in this? I don't taste anything.
The egg tasted unseasoned, but also, to be fair, I ate this immediately after eating a tuna and green onion pasta, so I think anything would taste bland after that combination. I ended up not ordering any dessert because I was just about ready to explode after this, and I didn't have anyone with me this time who could help me eat it. Next time I go, I definitely want to bring a friend with me because it was kind of lonely waiting and eating by myself. The atmosphere was surprisingly really plain for a permanent cafe, and it was pretty small on the inside. There was a merch section for the Miku collab, but since I didn't have much interest in Cinema Roll, I picked up stuff for Mouse instead. I give Cinema Roll Cafe a 3 out of 5.
A 3?
The next permanent walk-up cafe is also a Sanrio character cafe, but this time for my personal favorite, Pom Pom Puddin'. And first off, I'm not biased or anything, but this is hands down the cutest, most visually appealing cafe that I have been to so far. All the interior furniture is on theme. There's a giant Pom Pom Puddin' in the middle, and the employees even wore super cute uniforms that were Pom Pom Puddin' themed. So right off the bat, the atmosphere hits all the marks for me. But what about the food?
Yeah.
So I decided to order the butter chicken curry, which had the rice shaped like Pom Pom Puddin's head, and it was actually really tasty.
Okay,
it was super flavorful and adorable, and I cleaned up my plate really fast.
This just made me extremely hungry. Like,
Didus ordered a limited time summer festival plate, which I didn't try, but he finished everything and said it was pretty good. We also ordered drinks that came with whipped cream and a little chocolate Pom Pom Puddin' at the top. I had a mango lassi, and it was good, but a bit too sweet for my liking. So next time I go, I might just get a regular drink. For dessert, we had to order the custard pudding since, you know, the theme of the character. But I was pretty full at this point, so I could only get a few bites in. It tasted like any other custard flan or pudding that you'd find in Japan, except this one was in a cute round glass with Puddin's face on it. Of course, there was a little merch section in the cafe, and I brought home my own pudding glass. This is definitely one of my favorite cafes, and I can absolutely see myself coming back. Especially since there was absolutely no wait time or reservation required. 5 out of 5. The third permanent walk-up cafe I visited was the Shiro-Hige Cream Puff Factory in Setagaya. Unlike the busy, bustling streets of Shinjuku and Harajuku that the other two were at, Shiro-Hige is located in a really peaceful green area right by the station.
This looks nice.
You might notice the Studio Ghibli memorabilia as you walk in, and that's because this cafe specializes in Totoro-shaped cream puffs. They have different custard flavors depending on the season, like peach and mango, and they also have a selection of other Totoro-themed sweets available for purchase. So the bottom floor is the bakery, but if you go upstairs, you can enjoy a meal in the cafe and order those same Totoro cream puffs to eat in.
Cool.
We ordered 2 cafe au laits, a sausage and salad plate with an assortment of bread, and a toasted pressed sandwich with roast pork, ham, cheddar, pickles, and roasted potatoes. It was so crispy and tasty. If I had to describe it in a word, it would be comfort. Speaking of which, the whole vibe of the cafe was extremely comfy and perfectly fit the Ghibli theme. We, of course, had to end the meal with a Totoro cream puff, and it was so cute I had trouble cutting into it with my fork. We ordered the regular custard vanilla flavor, and it was pretty good. But as usual, I couldn't finish it.
Oh my gosh.
This cafe goes on my list of places I want to take friends to, so I will definitely be returning. This cafe gets
I
a
would
5
come
out
back
of
to
5.
this one, honestly. If you can come
The
back to
last
the
type of
restaurant, that's
cafe
good.
I'll be talking about has given me the most stress out of all the others.
no.
And that would be permanent reservation cafes. Unlike other permanent cafes where you can just stroll up and maybe wait for a bit, these ones require a reservation, and you'd think it'd be easy to get a table at these because they're here year-round, but
Kirby
you'd be
Cafe.
wrong. Let's start with the easier one. The Straw Hat Cafe at the Ghibli
Oh my
Museum in
goodness.
Mitaka. Similarly to the Sailor Moon Museum Cafe, you don't actually need to book a reservation at the Straw Hat Cafe. You just need to purchase a ticket to the Ghibli Museum so that you can access the cafe. The Ghibli Museum itself is really cool, and I definitely recommend going, especially since tickets are quite cheap, less than $10. Now,
That's
technically,
cool.
I don't think the Straw Hat Cafe is meant to be a Ghibli-themed cafe, just more like a regular cafe whose whole purpose is to properly feed you while you're in the museum. So don't expect bacon and eggs from Howl's Moving Castle, or ramen from Ponyo, or even rice balls from Spirited Away. The presentation is not what you'd expect from a Studio Ghibli branded cafe, and yes, they serve you the food on
more
parchment paper
amusement
and
park
paper
type food,
bowls.
you know?
However, it actually tasted really, really good. I was genuinely shocked. Based on older Google reviews, it looks like there was a bigger menu and a bigger wait time before
That was
COVID,
cool.
but they've both been reduced since then. So once tourism kicks back up, you can maybe expect the wait times to be longer again. We ordered the ketchup and chicken rice bowl, which came with half an egg and some Japanese mayo on top, fries that were actually so good and crispy, and a sausage hot dog with the cafe logo pressed into the bun. The sausage had a really nice snap to it, and it tasted delicious. For dessert, I got a cafe au lait, and we shared a strawberry omelet, which was really simple but really good. It was nice, airy, fluffy, and not too sweet. There was also a snack bar next to the cafe where you could get some extra items, so we also got curry balls and an ume soda.
Ooh,
The
those
ume
look good.
soda was refreshing and sweet, and the curry balls were crazy good.
There goes the fruity
Nice
soda
and crispy
again.
on the outside and steamy and flavorful on the inside. My only complaint was that one order only came with 2 balls. Straw Hat Cafe gets a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Presentation might seem underwhelming, but it really hits a spot after you've spent the day walking around the museum.
I love
If you
this
prefer a
vlog-style
cafe that
video.
leans
It's actually
more to the
really
Ghibli
cool.
imagery, there's always the Shiro-Hige Cream Puff Factory. Of course, we had to check out the
Here it
Pokemon
is.
Cafe. So this is one of those cafes that are always completely booked pretty much every day. The earliest you can really book a reservation is a month in advance, and they open reservations for the next available day at 6 p.m. Miraculously, we were able to get a spot. All right, let's get straight to the point. The atmosphere is as adorable as you'd expect. There was a
Okay.
table set up to look like 2
Aw.
Pikachus were eating together. There was a giant chef Pikachu that came out and
Look
did a
at
little
him.
dance with the customers. It was
He's
very,
tiny but
very
huge.
cute. The food presentation was also super cute. Look at this Pikachu kebab plate I ordered. Look at this Eevee plate that Didus ordered. Look at these
Aw.
super cute drinks.
This is
Unfortunately,
really
they all look much better than they taste.
cool. Oh,
This
no.
is one of those cafes where you're truly paying for the aesthetic and the presentation, because the
Yeah.
taste was mediocre. The
Mid?
drinks were way too sweet, and the food wasn't really satisfying. Now, keep in mind,
See, the
this
thing
is
is, I like
probably
sweet
because
stuff.
this
Like, that's
cafe is
me.
more
I'd
geared
probably
to
be
kids,
like, this is
so
all
the
good.
portion sizes and sweetness levels are pretty different from some of the other cafes we've been to.
Okay.
And as expected, the items are pretty expensive, but if you're a huge Pokemon fan, then the experience is still worth it, in my opinion. I'm
Okay.
just saying that right after we left the cafe, we had to go eat McDonald's to feel satisfied. Another plus is that it's right next to the Pokemon Center, so after your meal, you can stroll in and take a look at all the Pokemon-themed items you can take home with you.
Just go get a
Like this
Pokemon.
very cursed Pikachu
Oh
plush.
my goodness. he
Overall,
doesn't
I'll
look
have to
Among
give
Us.
the Pokemon Cafe a 4 out of 5, simply because it was everything you would want in a themed cafe, except for delicious. The
Okay.
Kirby Cafe at Tokyo
Last
Skytree. This cafe was the final boss in my theme cafe journey. This cafe opens up reservations on the 10th every month for the month after. So for example,
Oh.
if you want to get a table in September, you need to camp out on the site on August 10th and wait for the reservation Hunger Games to begin. The site will be laggy due to high traffic. You will need to frantically figure out how to type your government name in katakana. And if you end up missing this reservation period, you will have to wait an entire month before you can try again.
Oh no.
I was nervously awaiting the battle on August 10th. I set several alarms reminding me. I watched that loading screen turn round and round as the site struggled to make room for eager customers. And I got in, baby! Cafe number 12, let's go! Kirby Cafe!
All right.
So like the Pokemon Cafe, this cafe was adorable inside and out. And we got to sit by the big tree in the middle of the restaurant. I ordered a salmon and avocado bowl, and Didus ordered a Loco Moco bowl.
Okay.
They were pretty tasty, although to be honest, you could just as easily make them at home. However, we were able to keep the little bowls as souvenirs, which I thought was really
cool.
neat.
Okay.
We also ordered 2 cafe au laits with little marshmallow
Kirby?
Kirby's on top, and they were so cute and so delicious. I also ordered a peach soda, which was admittedly way too sweet for my liking, but it was still fun to drink. And for dessert, we of course had to order the Kirby Jello cake. Just look at it. It's so cute and jiggly. I'll be honest, I did not really eat any of it because I was pretty sugared out from my 2 drinks, but Didus really liked it, so you can take his word for it. In addition to the souvenir bowls, we received some super cute free coasters, and we got this plastic
really
stirring
cool.
stick that I think was an
It
exclusive.
almost seems like worth
dined
it for
in.
that, you know,
Afterwards,
reservation
we
kind
hit up
of
the merch
hassle.
store, and it took me a lot of strength not to buy everything I saw because they have some seriously cute merchandise.
I would've
Even
bought
if you don't
something,
have a
honestly.
reservation at the cafe itself, you can pop in whenever you want to browse the merch.
Okay.
The food is quite expensive, but like I mentioned before, themed cafe food is always expensive, so I can't really judge that aspect. If you're a huge Kirby fan, it's definitely worth going for like a special occasion or something. This one gets a 5 out of 5.
Awesome.
Now let's review. Pop-up walk-up cafe. Pro, easily accessible. Con, typically lower quality and unpredictable wait time.
Okay.
For the pop-up reservation cafe. Pro, better quality and no wait time. Con, can be difficult to get a reservation, especially because of time exclusivity.
Right.
For the permanent walk-up cafes. Pro, easily accessible, but con, unpredictable wait time.
It's just wait time.
And for the permanent reservation cafes. Pro, year-round and no wait time. However, con, can be difficult to get a reservation.
I see.
So, are themed cafes worth it? I'd say if you're a big fan of the anime or IP that the cafe is based on, then yes, I do think it's worth going to at least once, especially if you go with a friend who's also a fan. It's even more worth it if you're like me and you really love that gimmicky, cute novelty stuff. Just keep in mind that what you're mostly paying for is the novelty of it. Even if the food is pretty good, you'll always be able to find a better quality version of what you're eating for much cheaper at a different restaurant. But let's be honest, you're not going to a themed cafe because you want high quality omurice. You're going so you can eat omurice that looks like a cute character sleeping in a little egg blanket, and you were so valid for that.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're a fan of something and there's a pop-up collab cafe for a limited time, definitely consider going next time you're in Japan.
I probably would, honestly speaking. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I had to go get me some food because now I'm extremely hungry. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. See ya.